It was hit hard by the world financial crisis, but now with its vast reserves of copper, gold, and other minerals, Mongolia is ready to mount a turnaround. Late last month, the country's parliament scrapped a 68% windfall profit tax on copper and gold, and now some economists predict the riches that come from the country's first major mining project could make Mongolia the world's fastest growing economy. Joining us to talk about developments is the president of Mongolia, Eldegdorj. Mr. President, I want to thank you very much for joining us on Taking Stock. And I wanted to start by asking a question that you've received from many recently about the negotiations with Ivanhoe Mines and Rio Tinto. You're close, I would imagine, at this stage. What's standing in the way at this point of getting the deal done?
I think now some logistics there are. And in the coming week, we will have signed agreement.
So within a week?
Yeah, within a week.
And this is obviously to tap your vast gold and copper resources.
Yeah.
How will this deal affect your economy?
I think this deal will affect very positively. I hope it will have some spillover effect, you know, multiplying effect.
Can you give us
an
example of that?
For example, you know, it will raise the business or investment confidence in Mongolia. It will help us, you know, that the deal is not only with one company, but other local companies will join to that. It will help us to develop our infrastructure. It will help us develop our other minerals, also attract other investors to Mongolia. Actually, that deal took quite long. But Mongolia is an open country, democratic country because of that, and I think it will help a lot.
Next year will be your 20th anniversary.
Yeah, you know, in Mongolia, one unique thing that in late of 1989, actually we had the same transition like in Eastern Europe. And uniqueness of that transition was without single bloodshed. Also, political and economic transition was at the same time. You know, many people think that making the political economic transition in Asian country at the same time is not Asian way. But we broke that stereotype. And this year and next year we will celebrate that transition.
I want to talk more about the resources story because outside of gold and copper, you're said to have the world's largest coal field. And you've also talked to possible partners on that front. What's the latest?
You know that coal field, one difference from the Oyu Tolgoi is coal field and license is in government. And also government will make deal with others. And there are, of course, market is China. And we have to deal with the Chinese interest. Also, we have two neighbors in Russia. And we have to deal with the Russian interest. And also, Mongolia always welcomes third neighbor investment. You know, in Mongolia we have policy called third neighbor policy. We have only two neighbors, and it also applies to our investors. And we would like to also have third neighbor involvement in that. Of course, our local business interest should be there. Means that they're going to be also not easy deal, but I hope we will have that in recent future.
With all this going on, the government has now started to look at starting a sovereign wealth fund. What can you tell us about that and what your ultimate goal is?
Sovereign wealth fund, you know, we need to invest in our economy. We need to diversify our economic inputs. Because of that, there is greater need investing in construction business. Also, Mongolia is an agricultural country. We have more than 50 million cattle there, you know. We have to try to produce some final products in Mongolia. And we have to invest in our agriculture and infrastructure, also other sector, and also our budget, there is deficit. I think we need some investment, we need some fund for that.
What has the economic downturn taught you, given how reliant the economy ultimately is on where commodity prices are?
Yeah, that hit hard us. And I hope that hit now bottom already, and now we are expecting gradual recovery.
Finally, how do you see people investing in Mongolia in the future? A well-known investor in emerging markets, Mark Mobius, has talked about investing in your country. Where do you see people investing and how in the future?
Okay. I think one attractive thing to invest in Mongolia is a stable political system and also good, reliable legal system and two markets, world's fastest growing market, China, and Russia emerging market, and also quite high literacy rate and good labor force in Mongolia. And I hope other investors will come also to will come to mining and tourism, infrastructure, and financing.
Mr. President, I want to thank you for your time.